Now this is an all-new Polestar 2, the first fully electric vehicle from Polestar. Not that there are that many other vehicles from Polestar at the very moment. It was a Polestar 1, but it was only a hybrid, not a fully electric car like this one. The purchasing process has been thought out by Polestar, and admittedly, they're quite smart. If you want a Polestar 2, it only comes one way with a couple of options. Base price in Canada is $69,900, in the US, $59,900. For that price, the car is essentially absolutely loaded. It's got full setup, battery, call it whatever you will, of LED lights, panoramic roof, heated front and rear seats, heated steering wheel, heated wipers, adaptive cruise control, Harman Kardon audio, Weave Tech seats. I'll show you those. It's a fully vegan business. Polestar digital key, a huge 11.15-inch screen display, plus a 12.3-inch IP display. All that included in the price. My Tester, well, it's a little bit more expensive because it has one of the two option packages, and it is the performance package. A dead giveaway, these wheels, those gargantuan, partially hidden 6-piston Brembo / Polestar calipers, and those enormous front discs. That's part of the package, as are Allin's adjustable dampers. Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit more about that shortly. Overall, that's it. So for just shy of $76,000, you get two electric motors, 78 kilowatt hour battery, the equivalent of 408 horsepower, about 375 kilometers of range, and a styling that is very unique. You know what? I don't want to say this exactly, but I'm going to say it. It kind of reminds me of the Subaru Outback sedan. You remember those? Yeah. The reason is the car looks like a crossover and an SUV kind of got together. We're thinking about being a sedan, but their deepest wish was to be a 5-door hatchback, but they didn't want to lose the ground clearance. So this is what came out of all that mix, and it really, really works. Anyways, it works better than the Subaru Outback sedan, at least in my opinion. And the design elements are so familiar but unique at the same time. Polestar designers did a great job, and I love the subdued, look at that, a body-colored logo. I mean, you do pay for that as an option on a lot of cars, but it's blacked out, but it's still special, and nobody hides their brand anywhere, but this is just subtly included in the way the car looks. What else can I tell you? I mean, look, the front end is so familiar. Right, the way the grille kind of, first of all, there's a grille and it's an EV. See, the way this upper portion of the front end kind of climbs over the grille and meets with the way the hood is cut. It's very Volvo as well. I love those. I think it's Thor hammer headlights. I mean, the thing looks beautiful, but not at the same time. It's meant to be rugged, elegant, luxurious, and that's probably why it's going to sell so well. And here's another thing too. Look at the ratio, greenhouse versus body panel. I'm going to scooch down. I mean, it's like 1/3, 2/3. The greenhouse is tiny. So visibility is a little bit affected, but it's got that, yes, I'm in horse country. I don't know if you heard that. I don't know. It's got that perfect SUV sedan combination. We'll do the usual tour. I'm thinking maybe I wasn't going to show you the front, but I think maybe I will. So it opens up at the conventional trunk. I'm going to try and do this one-handed. Should work. Yes. So that's a 35-liter frunk. So this is a tiny, tiny, tiny backpack, my hat, and your power cable, and that's about it. Now there's a funny thing right there. I hope I'll remember to mention that in the video. I did mention, right, Allin's dampers, which are adjustable. Anyhow, okay, so let's see if this is gonna work though. Back trunk, come on. I don't want to trip over. Yes, it works, all right. See, it's an actual hatch. Yay, Polestar. All right, so that reveals 440 liters of really usable trunk space. I mean, it's Volvo. I mean, everything's thought out, right? Here's your grocery bag holder, beautiful. I'll flip that back down. And then this panel, you lift it to the floor and it reveals more storage. I should be able to do this. This is actually like a little leg to hold up the panel while you load it up. Again, everything is thought out, right? Okay, so let's go in the back. Doors are actually fairly wide up top, but at the bottom, fairly narrow. I don't know if you can see what I mean. And look at that, look at the rake or the angle of that. So getting in and out is not so bad for the head, but you kind of gotta slide in while the door is open. Look at the materials, the fit and finish. I mean, Polestar is a quote-unquote startup, but the way they put things together, it absolutely does not show. The materials are gorgeous. This is the Weave Tech stuff. I don't know if it'll focus. It's really nice material. There's the front end, the dashboard. It's very nice. Elegant, simple, but busy at the same time. Legroom in the back. Loads and loads of legroom. It's huge. And this is with my driving position. There's some more familiar touches. If you're familiar with the Volvo family of products, you could slide 3 across, and yes, isn't that a beautiful touch? I absolutely love that. Here's your included panoramic roof, big piece of glass, which is kind of nice. And I don't know if that's gonna show. Yeah, look at. Can you see it? I think I can see it. Yeah, the Polestar logo. It's kind of projected there on the roof. So getting out is the tougher part because it's so narrow down there, and the seats are far back. Not that old. All right, so up front, again, the materials, the fit finish, it's extremely luxurious. More familiar switch gears, but hey, it's Volvo stuff. It works really, really well. These seats, even more comfortable than they look. They support every bone and organ in your body, or nearly. All right, so let's slide in. It actually recognizes you when you're in the car with your key in your pocket, which is my case there. Shifter, very simple. See, there's very little going on here. It's just looks. See, it recognizes the movements around. So this is the full Google/Android infotainment system, which works remarkably well. Navigation, it's very responsive. Everything works.
Sure. Where would
Well, wrong button. Anyway, this actually, I only have a few hours with the car. It's very intuitive. I'm not that familiar with it. I wish I had a little bit more time, but suffice it to say that if you enjoy a little bit of tech, it works well and quickly. I'm going to get back to that actually. Here's your 12.3-inch IP, so it switches depending on the view. There we go, stop. Oh, okay, here we go, I'm in. Please, I don't know if it'll let me do it. Okay, yes. All right, so you can switch the views. There you go, with your nav embedded in there. Anyway, it's beautiful stuff. I'm going to go back into park. Okay, so the important button as far as I'm concerned is right there. And here is everything you can adjust in the drive. So you can adjust the one pedal, which is fantastic. Standard is actually will bring you to a full stop. If your creep is off, if it's on, well, it'll make you creep forward. Steering feel, ESC. It is so simple. There your drive assist. I love the displays. The graphics are beautiful, so responsive. Charge, state of charge, I don't know. Everything is beautiful. I really, really wish I had more time to play with that. But in the meantime, visibility is actually quite good. Frameless type style mirrors, I love that. So there's good visibility. The base of the A-pillar with this portion in the door is actually not that bad. Visibility is good. You really feel like you're sitting up high in an SUV, which is definitely going to help make this car even more interesting. Look at the textures, the wood. Everything is sustainable and reusable, I don't know, or reused, recycled. It's fantastic. And here's a very familiar steering wheel as well. I'm really, really liking this vehicle, and I'm liking the pricing, the packaging, the styling. I'm going on and on, eh? So maybe I'll stop there, and we're going to take this for a spin, and I'll tell you a little bit more. All right, so before I go on, if I was warned that this is a pre-production model, so should I ever go quiet, which never happens, and you hear some creaking noises, let's say that's because it's a pre-production model. Now the important stuff: dual electric motor, front, rear, total combined system output is of 408 horsepower, 487 pound-feet of torque. which means a 0 to 100 kilometer an hour time of 4.7 seconds, so knock a tenth off, give or take, for a 0 to 60 mile per hour sprint. Range with the 78 kilowatt hour battery is rated at about 375 kilometers or 230 some odd miles. As always with an electric car, when you put the hammer down, you get going. This is a very heavy car. We're talking about 45, 46, maybe even 4,700 pounds. So instant torque is absolutely wonderful. But compared to other EVs in the same price bracket, it doesn't feel that fast. But the thing with this car, the more I drive it, sadly, as I said, I don't have much time with it, the more I'm getting a sense that this is meant to be an alternative to your fuel guzzling car. This is every bit your normal internal combustion engine car as far as feel, as far as senses are concerned. Obviously it feels a little bit quicker than your average V6 powered SUV, I guess. Non-turbo perhaps. Oh, even turbocharged, I'll take that back. But the sense of normalcy in this EV compared to something I drove also today, albeit also briefly, but I was very familiar with the car. This is just a road machine. It's not a performance car. It's none of those things. It's punchy, it's quick, but it's also extremely refined, which means that like the communication between the steering wheel and the front wheels is, well, we understand each other. We don't speak the same language, but we kind of understand each other, which is fine, because that's what you would normally get in an average luxury crossover, so as to not use the word SUV. What's very specific about this car, and I showed it to you and I told you about it, it's the performance package, which with the Brembo brakes on this thing, oh my god, does it ever stop. It's incredible. There's nobody behind me right now, so that is massive stopping power. And the regen braking is only set to low, not the standard mode, which is fairly aggressive and a lot of fun for one pedal driving when you're in city. Beauty also is that you can shut all of that off and use the coasting ability of this heavy car when you're on the highway or you're driving at higher speeds, as I am right now. Another aspect, which I'm still wrapping my brain around, that is included in the package, and I mentioned the word Allens. So this car has three-way adjustable Allens dampers. But these are not dampers. If you remember, I showed you the screen, right, where it has the various car settings. You can't adjust them electronically. No, you have to do it manually. I found what looks like a dial in the front at the very bottom of the dampers. In the rear, can't find anything. But that's how these are adjusted. I can't wrap my brain around the fact that buyers would actually, paying the $6,000 for the brakes and the wheels and the dampers, I get that. But I would actually stop and use the jack that's in the front to raise the front end so you can adjust the front dampers. There's some craziness going on in there because I can't find a spare tire in this thing. And judging by the size of those front brakes, not just any spare will fit. So it's kind of funny and crazy all rolled into one. Because the average buyer of this, I don't think, will crawl on their belly and adjust the dampers. So essentially, they probably will leave them in normal or medium as they are set in the car right now and forget about the fact that they have adjustable Allens dampers on their car. There's a soft mode and there's a harder track mode. According to Polestar, some buyers may want to actually, adjust the dampers to their liking on a semi-regular basis. I can't see that happening at all. In my mind, when you go in for service or your winter tires or whatever, well, then you ask the dealer, you know what, I'm curious, I'd like to try the soft setting. for the next 6 months. Anyhow, compared to that other car I drove, which is a Model 3, which is a comparable purchase, this feels, as I said, far more conventional, far more normal. It's just a regular car that happens to be electric that you plug in, which, by the way, is 40 minutes on a DC fast charger from a 0 to 80, which is about average. It's a 400-volt system. So yeah, this feels like a normal internal combustion car, and that is definitely appealing. And it also shows as one of them. It's actually really, really good, and I think price-wise, it's in a very sweet spot to compete with other luxury cars and upcoming luxury EVs. I do like this car very, very much. I think Polestar has done a wonderful thing, and the styling direction and decision, blending in some Volvo, and giving it a crossover sedan look at the same time that's what's going to differentiate it at first, and I think that's going to work. I really like this thing, and the dampers set in medium, normal, whatever. It's a good compromise between comfort and handling.